record on the computer. I'm going to mute all and unmute you and then give you power.
Thanks, Nate.
All right. Where is it? That should be it.
Yeah. So I feel something's different. I have the power. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I appreciate it very much. And thank you very much for those of you who are here looking at this information for the very first time. As I said before, we'll blast through this fairly quickly so that we can field questions at the end. The concept that we're about to have a look at is in the home-based arena. This is something that anyone can use very, very easily from their smartphone or their tablet or their laptop. And the purpose behind the project is very simple. It's to bring an opportunity for participation in the global Forex market to individuals that normally may not consider themselves either skilled enough or maybe dedicated enough to start profiting within the Forex marketplace. The reason Forex, very simply, is because of the size. It's an absolutely immense market. And you can see from the right-hand side of this screen, comparing it, for example, to the New York Stock Exchange is something that everyone's familiar with. And you take a look at the difference, $20 billion is nothing to sneeze at. And this is daily volume in the New York Stock Exchange. Well, obviously that's centralized. That's in New York. It's on Wall Street. The Forex market is decentralized, which means that it's global. There's no one location for Forex participation or activity. It's something that happens all around the world. In fact, central banks, including the majority of people on this call are probably either in the US or Canada, the US Central Bank and the Canadian Central Bank both participate heavily in the global Forex market. In fact, the entire banking ecosystem all around the world participates heavy in Forex. The interesting thing, which probably will come as a surprise to nobody, is the banks have found a way to participate in Forex where they never lose. What they do is they actually provide liquidity to the market. And so brokers all around the world give them a fee, pay them a fee to use their financial resources to bring liquidity to the market. Guess where those financial resources come from? Us, our bank accounts. So anytime you wonder, for example, I'll use Canada as an example. We've got 6 main banks here in the country, and we only have about 33 million people in the country. Yet every quarter, all 6 banks show quarterly earnings at $4 billion or higher. So there's an awful lot of money that they pull out of the Forex marketplace. They're not making their money from ATM fees. If you noticed, the other thing on that earlier slide was another industry that's a very rapidly growing industry, and it's been on a steady climb since the turn of the millennia, 2001. We've seen incredible growth. What's really interesting about e-learning is that, take a look at the last bullet point, 40 to 60% less learning time than in a classroom environment. Imagine being able to learn anything that you want to learn in 40 to 60% less time than in a classroom environment. Someone who has as horrible / despised school as much as I did, this would have been a dream come true for me, but alas, I came to a little bit late in the game. So let's talk about the Forex marketplace just a tiny bit. There's 6 bullets I want to share with you. First of all, largest, most liquid financial market in the world at $5.3 trillion as an average for daily traded volume. Just to get a sense of the immensity of that, we talk about U.S. national debt and how it's climbing, especially during this COVID pandemic and some of the conflicts that unfortunately the U.S. Has to participate in from time to time, and how that really runs that U.S. deficit up. And of course, the reason we're sensitive to that in Canada is because all of our GDP is so dependent on the U.S. market. When they sneeze, we're the ones that often catch the cold, it's said. And so consider that entire U.S. national debt could be wiped clean with only 5 days of trading in the global Forex market. That's how big this market is. it's historically proven to be recession proof. And one of the reasons for that is that generally you're trading in currency pairs. Let's say the Great British Pound versus the Swiss franc. One currency is going up, the other currency is going down. That's how money is made in the Forex market. And so as a whole, the industry doesn't typically go up or down. So it really creates a lot of security for participants, regardless of what's happening in the economy outside of the Forex market. Incredible flexibility as far as risk management. And you can also leverage and compound in this space. Leveraging and compounding are key wealth generating figures. If you talk to anyone that you may know that has $1 million net worth or more, has owned their own businesses or is involved in trading, they would tell you probably a significant portion of their wealth has come from either leveraging or compounding in some fashion. And then the Forex market is a 5-day per week market. So this is not 7 days a week. Everybody gets the weekend off. Now, of course, we get 7 days a week off because we're going to talk about a fully automated platform. So the project itself is less than a year old, although it's closing in on 3/4 of a year. In fact, I think we've just eclipsed 3/4 of a year. We're around 9 months old now. And the project is really focusing on building up a family of global participants, global users of this technology. And their focus is really to make sure that we feel extremely comfortable in our participation in this space. And so transparency is absolutely key in everything that they do. The purpose, as I mentioned earlier, really is just to bring a very simple platform to navigate your way through and be profitable in the largest financial market in the world. A market where maybe you would normally steer clear because of the complexity of the Forex marketplace. This really negates a lot of the worries that one would have to have in trying to master a market like that, because you don't have to master anything other than turning on or off your smartphone or your tablet. And then as far as positioning goes, we're going to talk a little bit about the technology and how they can do what they're doing. So the owners are in the wide open in this platform. In fact, it's very, very easy to listen to or even interact with the owners of this platform 3 times a week. They're on Zoom presentations that are also on YouTube. And Oscar Lopez, the CEO of the platform, is a bit of a serial entrepreneur, has been incredibly successful in a variety of different endeavors, including mass real estate ownership, all kinds of traditional enterprises and businesses that he has had and have sold to pursue this exclusively, and businesses that he's simply passed on day-to-day operations onto other staff, so this can be his sole focus. The individual you see below leads VP or leads trading operations. So anything to do with the technology, anything to do with how they're being as successful as they are being for all of their members, it falls under Edwin's hands. The facilities now, at least a couple people, maybe more, on this call have actually had a chance to tour these facilities. We shot down for the official, what we call the official launch of the platform, which was in November, to tour this office space, which, by the way, the company purchased. This is not a lease. This was a purchase, more than $1 million purchase. And then I suspect equally that amount in retrofitting the office to suit their specific needs. Now, this office has an open door policy, so anybody can go at any time, meet the principals, have a look at some of the trading operations and some of the other things that are done out of this space. You can see the location below. It's right downtown Panama City. In fact, if you look at the bottom of those 3 photographs and you walk straight towards those windows, you'll see just off to the left-hand side, it's almost like you see that very, very large coastline when you see shots of Rio de Janeiro. Same idea, where you see the city off to one side, but if you look off to the right-hand side, you can actually see the Panama Canal from those windows. So again, the office is designed for everybody. It's really to bring headquarters, heads of operations from all different divisions of the company under one roof. By the way, Panama City, Panama was selected for a couple of reasons, but a very good reason is the fact that it's often referred to as Little Dubai, because there's so much banking infrastructure in Panama. US banks are represented there, South American banks, even Canadian banks are represented in Panama. So on to probably the most important area of the platform, and that is their technology. If you take a look at the last sentence, our team of professionals have extensive experience both in Forex trading and EA design and management. That really says all one needs to know about the platform. EA is an abbreviation for expert advisor. So if you write a piece of software that's designed to perform a certain function, EA software is designed to do exactly that. It's designed to trade in the Forex market and nothing else. But if you don't have ongoing maintenance and management, then your EA will, it's the best way of phrasing it, market conditions in currency markets always are changing. And so if your EA was programmed to behave a certain way under a certain market condition and conditions change and you don't modify the programming of that software, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get your rear end handed to you. And so this is one of the key advantages that the individuals have at the corporate side. Everything is owned and operated all under one roof. And it's owned by the company. There's no white label. There's no third party. The engineers that develop the tech are the engineers that manage the tech and stay on top of it. And then when we talked about transparency just a couple of slides ago, this is really where that transparency manifests itself for the benefit of all of us. Whether you're using your phone or your tablet or your laptop or desktop, you access what we call Web TV. In fact, there's a screenshot of what the Web TV product looks like. You can see in the bottom right of that screen, it says Euro AUD. That's a Euro Aussie dollar trade. That would have been a live trade when that snapshot was taken. And you can access all the major and minor currency pairs that are being traded at any particular time. Click a button and you can watch that trade activity happen right in your own back office. As far as the tools go, well, there's a great variety of them, and they certainly are being professionally designed and built. There's a dedicated company that does just this. They build a backend, a special custom backend just for us, because the needs of the company are so unique. Because the needs of the company are so unique, there is a company called the Conversion Pros that operates out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and all of their software engineers are either in the US or in Canada, and they custom build out all the back end for the company. But they also build out what we call support or marketing tools for those of you who may choose, in your enthusiasm, to share the platform with others. There's a whole series of 2- and 3-minute videos to make that easy. There's even situations or software that you can, or an application rather, you can download on your smartphone. So when you fire these videos off to your Facebook account or to your Instagram account or any other social media tool you may use, the app actually tells you when someone's watching one of those videos. And then everything else, as I said before, is also built and managed in-house. So you can see the smart payment, even things like the smart payment processor, they make sure they build and code all that stuff up themselves so they don't have to use third parties. So at the very, very center of operations is what we call the Academy. The CFX Academy is essentially, it's an online university, which is why we mentioned those 2 industries that we touch in the first slide. One of them was e-learning. Because the online university, what it does is it brings, for the long-standing legal position of the company, it creates an environment where there is a key product at the center of the platform. And when that product is purchased, those are the dollars with which go into their sharing plan. There's a very important reason for that. Anything that has any long-term aspirations in the US or Canada or abroad has to operate with a product at the center of it. And that's exactly what this Academy is meant to do. The company is certainly sparing no expense in the build out of the Academy. And you'll see in a moment, there are 15 different steps with which one integrates or accesses this Academy, and it's all broken down into modules. So the 3 series, you can see the icons, the graduate icons, the Elemental series, the Advanced Professional series, and the Supreme series, and then there's modules within each of those series. So for example, if I got started at the very beginning of this trade package lineup, it would be a $300 trade package. Well, that would unlock the very first section of the Academy. And so you can see in the text, it says Academy Pack 90. Well, 90 is $90. It represents 30% of the value of that trade package. 30% of $300 is $90. So $90 you can see right on the box, that's the product box. $90 is going to that section of the product. The remaining $210 is actually being put to work for you. And that's where you'll see daily gains from as the tech starts to do its job. Below that, you can see leadership program points of 150, and I'll show you what those do, what they're worth, just as we wrap up. So you can see if we look at the $500 trade pack, for example, again, $150 Academy pack, well, that's 30% of the value of that trade pack. Now, if you started at 5, for example, 150 earmarked for that product purchase would also unlock the section that is the 300 trade pack Academy itinerary. Okay, so the further you go down this, or the further you may choose to start, if you started, for example, at a $2,000 trade package, then you would be unlocking all of the Academy sections at that level and prior. And of course, this is the Elemental series, so the academia that you're unlocking in this online university has everything to do with your very basic introduction to the Forex, how the market operates, the essentials in really sort of understanding the Forex market in the beginning. And then as you move into the advanced series, when each one of these sections of the Academy pack are being unlocked, you're getting deeper and deeper into the nuts and bolts of how actually to make money in the global Forex marketplace. Now, I'll tell you right away, first of all, one is not required to go through this curriculum, and one is certainly not required to trade on their own. However, there's always a certain percentage of the user base that wants to learn these skills. They want to develop some skills where they can take their laptop with them, go anywhere they want in the world, and always have the faculty or the capacity to earn. But the option will always be available to you as well to simply keep the platform completely on automatic. And that's what I do. That's what I'll continue to do even after the Academy is launched from start to finish and full manual operation is an option to members. It will never be an option. I know a lot about Forex. I know what's required to master Forex. And I'm just one of those personality types that would rather pull profits out of the Forex market without really having to do a lot of the heavy lifting myself. And then of course you can move into the trading packs that represent the Supreme series. In this case, 30, 40, 50, 70, and 100,000 US dollar trade packs. Now, there are a number of people in the platform that are using these larger trade packs. One of the things that's really interesting about this ladder, starting at $300 and ending at $100,000, is it's absolutely mathematically possible for you to start at the very beginning of the ladder at $300 and use a portion of your trading gains and move up the ladder. In fact, that's exactly how this was designed, to create an opportunity for individuals that can start with very, very little capital, and without going back into their pocket, they can work their way up over time all the way to these Supreme trading packs. So that ends the product side of this, this information. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take product-oriented questions right now? So anyone can choose to unmute yourself. Or, let's see, I don't see the chat opening. Our chat controls, I guess maybe the way this Zoom room was set up, members didn't have access to chat. And so,
Hey, John, I have the chat open, but there hasn't been any questions posted yet. So I think if anybody wants to ask questions, they can just unmute themselves.
We'll give everyone a minute to do that if they want to. Otherwise, we'll continue.
Yeah, if there's any question. Okay.
My name is Sharon. How do I'm pretty new at this and I'm not all the way sure I'm understanding, but how do I work up the ladder with just the $300 entry? How do I have to talk to someone and tell them to start getting aggressive, or what do I do?
No, you don't have to. That's always optional. That's one of the things I think is attracting so many people to the platform, is that sharing this with anybody is entirely optional. You don't need to do that to continue to progress through the trade ladder. So I'll give you an example. The way that your trade package works, Sharon, is your $300 will grow into $600. And if you want to, you can take a portion of that and you can bump yourself up to a $500 trade package, which will grow to $1,000, 2 times its value, and you can bump yourself up and continue on that journey.
How do I bump myself up? That's the part I'm not getting.
Oh yeah, we'll show you afterwards. Your upline will show you that behind the scenes. There's a little button in your back office that clicks upload, or rather upgrade. That's all you have to do.
Okay, I got it.
You bet. Yeah, it takes like 3 or 4 minutes. It's very easy.
Yeah, and John, I'm going to clarify in that a person can go from a $300 package to 500 and only put $200 in and keep the other 400 as profit.
That's it. You want to put, you want to make sure you're putting money in your pocket every time.
Can I ask a question, please, John?
Please.
I'm just wondering, when a contract comes up and you want to I'm at the $1,000, so I want to re-put the $1,000 in, and I do understand that if I took 1,000 out, put 1,000 in, that is a 20% cost for removing. But if I'm just using it to repurchase the contract, is there any 20% reduction?
There still is, yeah. Any withdraw for any reason is going to pay that fee, and we'll talk exactly about that fee as we wrap this presentation up.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. All right, let's dive into it. So, and by the way, we'll field more questions as we progress. Okay, so in the beginning, obviously our focus exclusively was on the technology and what can be gained through participation and using the technology. So we refer to gains that come from the tech as bear capital. Very simply, any money that's any gains that are acquired by the owner of a trade package that comes your way is referred to as bear capital, and everybody has the right to earn 2 times the value of their trade package regardless of how they start. So a 1K contract equals 2, a 5K contract equals 10, and so on and so forth. Below that, you can see bull capital. Bull capital is what you begin to accumulate by referring the platform to at least one individual. Now, things like the web TV, pulling that up on your smartphone when you're having coffee with a friend, which, by the way, is right around the corner. You're going to be able to actually see your friends again pretty soon. And once everyone is comfortable doing that again, of course, we'll be able to whip open our smartphones and show people some of the trading gains that we've been able to generate while we've been under house arrest. And then rank levels, we'll talk about that just as we sort of
Michael, how do I get friend?
Wrap up the final bit.
Sorry.
So I'm going to break down exactly how this bear and bull benefit work, because both are important, but again, one is optional. So every single person that acquires a trade package is going to earn bear capital, period. And this is exactly how that breaks down. 70% of the value of that trade package, remember, is going to work for you. And that can give you ultimately 2 times the value of any trade pack, in this case, 2,000 on a 1K pack. Bull capital is optional, and bull capital is something you don't begin to generate unless you choose to share the platform with someone else. There's the 30%. So there's your 70 and your 30% split. So the $300 or 30% of a 1K pack is broken up 2 ways. First is to what we call a fast start bonus, and the second is a unilevel. Now, there's a very good reason why these bonuses are broken up this way. One is for you specifically, and the other is for a whole team to benefit from. But in any case, they begin to accumulate, and they can continue to grow until you've earned an additional 2 times the value of your starting package. So for a total of $4,000. So we're going to talk about them in a little bit more detail. I just want to touch on trade results first. So regardless of how your trade results are looking from a week in, week out basis, and we've seen trading weeks as high as, I think, 12.5%, and as low as, I think, 5 or 5.2 or 5.3% in a trading week. The company caps all trading gains at 15% per week. So regardless of how strong the market conditions are, you'll never see more than a 15% gain in a single trading week, which is, a phenomenal gain. But nevertheless, it's important you understand 15% is the maximum that you'll see in a single trading week. Now, it's also really important that when one is deciding how they're going to move forward with the platform, if you take a look at the bullet at the bottom of the slide, the reality is that there's always inherent risk when it comes to any form of trading. So ideally, make sure that you are only putting capital in play that you can afford to lose. And ultimately, just because we've had 12 and 13% weeks in the past, there's no guarantee that we're going to see that again. I will say, as a caveat to this, though, there's a new EA that's getting ready for launch, and they're doing live cash testing right now, and the results have been absolutely phenomenal. So remember, trading results are bear capital. And then these two bonuses that we talked about on the bull side, remember the fast start? So the 30%, the 70-30 split, remember the 30% is going towards the purchase of that section of the online university called the Academy. Now, what's interesting, even though tens of thousands of dollars are being poured into the development of this Academy, the company itself is holding no money back from the Academy section purchase for itself. 100% of that is actually going back to us. And you could see that in that previous slide where $300 as the Academy purchase on a 1K package, 150 and 150 went out to those bonuses. So we know that all of that is going back out to us. And this is going towards your bull capital. And so is this unilevel is also going towards your bull capital. So if you see these first 4 levels in what we call a unilevel bonus represented in gray color, that means that as soon as you join, regardless of how you join, you also have access to what we call 4 levels within the unilevel. What does that mean? Well, very simply, if we use that red 1K example on the slide 3 slides ago, someone joins you refer them, you're going to earn a fast start bonus, 15%, which is half of 30%, 15% of the value of that trade package. So $150 would be that fast start that you would receive. And remember, another $150 would go into this bonus called the unilevel bonus. Well, how do you earn from that? Well, very simply, every single person that you personally share the platform with, not only are you earning a fast start bonus, but they're also occupying your level 1 in your unilevel. So if you share this with 1 friend or 10 friends or 100 friends, it really doesn't matter. They're all living on your level 1. And when $150, as an example, goes into the unilevel, anywhere on your level 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're earning 10% of the money that went into the unilevel. So in this case, $15 on $150. If your friend joined with a $10,000 trade package, well, in that case, you'd earn $1,500 $150 on the $1,500 that went into the unilevel. So when we continue to make progress, and we talked about those leadership ranks earlier in the presentation, this is where they start to show up as a benefit to you, is when you start reaching ranks within the platform. And I'll explain them in more detail in a couple of slides from now. But this essentially is how you reach those ranks and start to earn deeper and deeper into this unilevel bonus. So you can see, if you take a look at the gold text in the center of the slide, level 10, and then 11 to infinity, you actually have the capacity, as friends share with friends, which is happening a great deal in this platform, A, because the product is so easy to use, and B, the platform is so easy to share. You actually have the capacity to earn in this unilevel well beyond level 10. As deep as this will grow organically, you're able to generate a piece of that. And again, this is feeding your bull capital. And then the force matrix, this, Judy, this is the 20% withdraw fee that you were referring to. Now, when you mention 20% withdraw fee initially, you probably get some wide eyes and some slack jaws. What's really interesting about this, though, if you take a look at this yellow warning sign that pops up, this is not a profit center for the company. This is actually meant to be a profit center for you. And so I'll show you exactly how it works. The middle paragraph shows you exactly how that 20% fee is broken down. So there's 3 bonuses that comprise that fee: a 50% matrix bonus, which is what you're looking at right here, a 10% matching matrix, and a 40% leadership rank bonuses. So when we break this down a little further, let's use an example. If I was doing a withdrawal of $1,000 withdrawal from my back office, which is something that a new person would be doing fairly quickly from even the most basic level of participation in the platform. Well, $1,000 withdrawal and a 20% fee is a $200 fee. Now, remember, half of that fee is going to the bonus that you see in front of you right now. So the way the bonus works is very simple. Any time that anybody first gets a trade package, it doesn't matter what size that trade package is, they also receive a position inside this matrix. And this matrix is always growing. If you recall from the unilevel example, I said if you share this with 1 friend, 10 friends, or 100 friends or more, they're all sitting on your level 1. Well, that's impossible here. This is a fixed structure. So your level 1 here only has room for 3 people. Well, what if you share it with 4 people? Well, that 4th person is going to drop down into the next available space. Maybe that's on level 2, maybe it's on level 3 or deeper. So this grows out in multiples of 3. 3 on level 1, 9 on 2, 27 on 3, and it continues to grow in multiples of 3. What's great about this is that you receive a position here and potentially even earn from this, even if you've never shared the platform with anybody. I'll give you an example. The individuals that shared the platform with me, that sponsored me, gave me a call fairly early. And I think I was the 2nd or 3rd person that joined and started working with them. And they since have sponsored another maybe 200 people into the platform. So obviously some of those people have dropped down underneath me in my matrix, even though I may not know them. So anytime that they do a withdraw, thank you very much, I get the benefit. Just like all of you, if you're part of an aggressively growing group, and this certainly is, this call is representing more than 2 aggressively growing groups, there's a very good likelihood, even if you only came on as a customer, just wanting to use the trade technology, that in time, you may see individuals dropped down below you into your matrix as well, because there's nowhere else for them to go. So consider just for a moment, if we look at the green numbers on the right-hand side of this, you can see 3%, 5%, 6%, 10, 30, 20, 10, 10. I'm going to break this down for you. If you add all those green numbers up, you get 100%. So for example, $1,000 withdraw, $200 in fees, 100 of the $200 in fees goes here. So now you know exactly where that money goes based on the green number on each level. If someone on your level 2, for example, did a $1,000 withdraw, $3 would go directly to you, because $3 goes to anyone on your 2nd row, your level position. If someone on your level 7, for example, did a $1,000 withdraw and $100 went into this, well, you would earn $30 of that $100. If they're on your level 10, you would earn $10 of that $100. What's really interesting about this bonus is that as your friends continue to move up in trade package size, and I will tell you right now that I've got friends I shared this with about 7 or 8 months ago that bought $300 trade packages that today are on $100,000 trade packages. So remember, there's 15 steps along that journey. And that's 15 different fast start bonuses that I earned. And that's 15 different unilevel contributions from that one person, even though they never went back into their pocket again. And every single time they did a withdraw, I also got a benefit in my unilevel. So I'll give you a really quick example. If you had, let's say we share with 3 friends, we do this simple action only. I share with 3 friends who do the same, and we grow this out up until level 7 of your matrix. Well, that's 2,187 people all doing, if they were just doing a $1,000 withdraw, you get $30 times 2,187 people. That's 66,000 US dollars. And that would be a recurring income for you. Now, it maybe takes 6 months or 12 months, 24, 36 months for that to happen. But the wonderful thing about it is this is a recurring income, and it's completely sustainable because it's based on members withdrawing the results that they're getting from the trading technology. This is also interesting. This is going towards your bear capital, which is the capital, remember, is your trading gains. And then the personal matching bonus, very simply, 10% match. All that means is any number of people that you shared the platform with, when they start to earn matrix bonuses, you get a 10% match. So what I can do is field any questions that now relate to either the technology or the sharing model. Just go ahead and unmute yourself and fire away.
Hey, John, I want to mention that been involved since early July with you. And then my wife joined recently, and today she started with a $300 contract. And this is just a point of how to progress the process up. She withdrew $270 out of her account. She's been involved with 2 weeks. She took 200, so that left her $70 profit. She's upgraded to a $500 contract, and she already has $70 profit. So there's a lot of learning here, but I'm helping her and guiding her, and it's a beautiful system with a lot of money both ways around. It's just, and it's totally automated. So she doesn't even know what's happening, you know, in a good way. But when she does have questions, I definitely help her out. So that's the way it works.
That's fantastic. And you know, what's really neat is that I think really the genesis of this group was only about, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, maybe 90 or 100 days ago.
Yeah, John, it's started basically with Dean, and then for me it's been 11 weeks, and for Dean I think maybe 12 or 13 weeks.
And what contracts are you guys, or trade packages are you guys on?
Well, I'm at 1K. I just upgraded to the 1K, and I had already actually taken out money that I used for paying some bills and paying some stuff, and I still had money to get to the 1K, and I haven't put in any more than the 300 that I started with.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I know there's guys that you're working with that are 3 and are 5 and 7, and I believe that one of you is even at 15 now.
That's me. That'd be Dean. Yeah, it's gone really well. I injected a little bit more of my own money into that. I'd say out of the 15K, I would have 3K of my own in. The rest is all through the program.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Michael started roughly around 100 days ago as well. Michael, are you on a 30K or 40K contract?
30.
That's awesome.
But
So it's really,
Tammy's at a 40K contract, so we gotta have a shout out to Tammy.
Yeah, the Mexican princess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
well, the nice thing is you get there. You know, everyone gets there, and that's the name of the game here. I'm doing a lot of work with markets in Africa, in South Africa, in the Philippines, markets that aren't necessarily cash wealthy. But a lot of people are using this. They're thinking of it as a retirement platform, so they can start very small without putting any more money out of pocket, work their way up over a longer period of time to those 100K contracts, and have this as something for them and their families long term.
Yeah,
John, I just wanted to state the reason why Dean had to put his own money in is because I was doing an upgrade and he didn't have the room to take the full amount of the commission. So that's why you have to keep in contact with your upline and say, okay, dude, I'm upgrading. Do you have room for it? If not, you got to go or you're going to lose. So that's why he was forced to do that.
That's a quality problem.
Yes.
I said that before too. What a great problem to have.
Yeah, for sure.
it's important for everyone to understand that 300 isn't the default amount that you can come in with cash effects. If you have the means, it just makes perfect sense to come in at higher amounts, because the goal is to get to the 100K contract level as soon as possible.
Any questions at all as they relate to the numbers we just walked through? Anything unclear?
John, Randy.
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me? This is Louis Arup talking here.
You can, yeah.
Hey, I was talking to Nate there earlier today about some questions on taxes and stuff, and it seems how Nate said that he pulled some money out. When we go to pull money out of our system, is that an issue? Like, how do you go about it? And one other question is pensions, because I've had a few people with their pension. Is it going to affect their pension plan, and how do they get around it?
Yeah, so as far as income goes, this would be considered. What I would recommend for everyone to do as they start moving into larger and larger trade packages and start making more and more, they may want to spend a little bit and create a limited company. You certainly don't want to do that, or don't need to do that if you're going to make $50,000 a year or less. But if your intention is to make more than that, then that's a great way to defer taxes. One of the things you want to do is make sure you pay your taxes, because you don't want to turn a great situation into an ugly situation if that ever stings you. And so the easy way of looking at it is this. When you convert any Bitcoin, because this is a Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out platform, remember all the big brokers in the world now accept Bitcoin as a form of capitalizing a brokerage account. And when you convert Bitcoin back to fiat, back to paper money, then you're liable to pay taxes on that.
Hey, John, I have a couple questions too.
Sure.
So I signed my wife up. What advantage would it be for me basically to sign up anybody under myself anymore when all the money stays in our household? Would I not try to put people under hers so I get the small residual as well, and then she gets the 15% when we sign?
It's entirely up to you.
Or does
how you choose to do that?
Spread it out.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can do both if you like. You can. Hi, Arlene. You can do both. So the strategy that I used very simply was I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure that I had 3 lines of lineage growing so that I would rank all the way through. And then after that, everything was just going to go wide.
When you say lineage, you just mean make sure I have 3 people under me minimum?
Yeah. Yeah. And those lines are growing. That's if your intention is to turn this into a really substantial income source. Listen, I'll just stop beating around the bush. I don't always share these numbers because some people, they just seem ridiculous when you share them. But I'll preface this by saying that first of all, we know that in addition to a household income, sometimes as little as $300, $400, or $500 a month can make a significant difference to someone's quality of life. And we also know statistically that a significant percentage of personal bankruptcies could have been avoided with even an additional $400 or $500 a month coming into a household. So if one had the intention of creating an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, with this platform, you could do that very easily and very quickly. That said, though, the platform is extraordinarily lucrative. And so if you just continue to repeat the same actions that created an additional $500 or $1,000, you can find yourself into some pretty significant profit numbers. I've been very fortunate in home-based business. I got involved in the industry when I was a young buck. And when I was in my 20s, I built a platform that was paying me $20,000 US a month, about 18 months after starting it. And that's been paying me that kind of money for, I don't know, the past like 23 or 24 years. So that was a highly rewarding platform for me. And anytime that I start anything like this, of course, the intention is to create a lasting income source. Now, you don't always hitch your wagon to something that has the potential of lasting that long. But I spent a lot of time with the owners of this company and take a look at all the money that they're putting into infrastructure. I take a look at the legal position and all the money they're spending in that area to make sure that they can stand the test of time. And I feel that we'll be able to draw on this as a legitimate income source for ourselves for many, many, many months to come. So my goal, once I knew that was the case, my goal was to make $100,000 a month within my first year of starting this. And I think I'll be pretty close to that. So I'm telling you that simply so that you understand, if you have those kind of aspirations, you can certainly do that with this platform.
I had one other quick question. For people that are kind of on the fence, but I feel this is something for them and they'd be pretty good at it. Is there any, say I want to just be like, okay, I'm going to sign you up. I'm going to pay for you to sign up and you can watch it. But is there any way for me to be in control of their account completely? No.
And I would probably advise against that. And the only reason I would advise against it is not that you don't want to help people. You should absolutely help people. It really comes down more to, I think, the psychology of that kind of an action. I think people appreciate things much more when it's their capital that goes into starting it. So if someone's not ready to get started yet, I think that you would just continue to feed them information until they're comfortable moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So you once you give control of that account away, that's no longer your account.
Okay.
So one of the things that we were going to do on this call is that after we asked questions. We were going to have very, very basic training in regards to pushing this project forward for those of you who make a conscious decision that you want to earn both bear capital from the technology and also bull capital from the sharing side of things. So we'll do that. But I want to make sure I don't cut off anyone who has any more questions regarding either of those two areas first.
John. Hey.
Hi.
I got a question. So my friend Rawi was asking, he had 3 quick questions. So when someone under you renews a contract,
Dude, how did you get into a nightclub?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I got LEDs in my room. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, my friend was asking, when someone under you renews a contract, would I get that? So like, say my friend Rawi, he renews that contract. Do I get the same fast start bonus, or do I get less for a renewal?
So fast start bonus is only given to the individual who shared the platform.
Okay, so like say he is his $300 contract expires. In order to renew that $300, would that still, like, would you have to, I guess you wouldn't have to refund that $90, like, would you still, in order to renew the contract?
2 options. So he's got 2 options, Tristan. The first option is that when he is at full bear, let's assume he's not sharing this with anybody.
Yeah,
So he's earned $600 on his 300.
Mm-hmm.
He always has 3 options. One is to withdraw all your profits.
Yep.
And then go to the record store, right? Just go keep your money and you're done.
Yeah.
The second option is that he can reach the maximum $600 and he can repurchase another $300 trade pack.
Okay.
And the third option is before he reaches 200% gain, 2 times gain.
Yeah.
He can take some of his profits and upgrade to the next trade pack in the ladder, which would be $500.
Okay, so if he was to get the same contract again,
yeah,
would then his upline would get bonuses again?
Were you the one that referred him to the platform?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd get another fast start bonus again.
Okay, that's what I was clarifying.
Yeah, so and a lot of people are very excited about that feature of the platform because most Forex products have a monthly fee between, and I know you know this well because you have experience with other programs, monthly fee between $100 and $200 per month.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we've created a mechanism where you get paid over and over and over again, but there's no monthly credit card fee in this platform. So your friend doesn't have to pay that, but you still get a reoccurring income. In fact, the reoccurring income, we went through 3 major bonuses: the fast start bonus, the unilevel bonus, and the matrix. And you're going to earn over and over and over on all of those.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
I'm going to share something with all of you that may seem absurd, but just bear with me and just try to do the math in your head and follow along. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you this trade package ladder. These are just some of them on the last slide, starting at $300. Remember, they go all the way up to $100,000. So I want you to imagine over a longer period of time, when individuals are moving to $1,000 and then 2 and then 3 and 5 and 7, and they're working their way up towards $100,000 packages. So just the organization that I've built so far in the first 8 months, if for some reason it stopped growing, and only based on existing members further moving along through their trade packages all towards 30K, 50K, 70K, and 100K, the team that I've built so far is more than enough for me to be earning $1 million a month. Because what you need to remember is that when you get to a $100,000 trade package, and then you reach the end of that 200%, or 400%, depending on whether you're earning bear and bull, what's going to happen? Well, you're at the end of that trade package, you're going to withdraw, and then you're going to take some of your gains and buy another $100,000 trade package. And so that anyone that I share this with, I'll receive a $15,000 fast start, and that's another $15,000 that goes into the unilevel. So I right now have about 6,000 members in my group. So imagine 6,000 people that are all contributing $15,000 into that unilevel. So that's everyone on level 1 to 4, you're making 10%. That's $1,500 per person. Everyone on level 5% or 5 and 6, you're making 20%. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of people on my level 5 and 6. Every time they renew, I'll make $3,000. And so all of you can put yourself in exactly the same position because this has no monthly fees. So it deters attrition. There's no reason for someone to stop participating if they're making money. If they're not losing money, they'll continue to participate. And all of your friends, even if they started at $300 or $500 or $1,000 trade packages, they're going to continue to move up that trade package ladder.
That's truly remarkable. It's
Awesome
it's the
stuff.
most brilliant thing I've ever seen, for sure.
You can track every dollar, and it's completely sustainable because the contribution to the rewards plan is not coming from trading gains. And it's very important to make that distinction. The company's spending a lot of money to make sure that they're a federal trade law, FTC compliant and SEC compliant. And if you were to recommend a platform to a friend and they were making any kind of trading gains and you were getting paid profit or a gain from their gains or a reward from their gains, you would have to have a securities license. That's illegal. So all of the bonuses we've talked about, none of that money is coming from trading gains. And so therefore it's fully sustainable.
Okay, I got one more question here. So I have a friend who just started with a $300 contract. Say he brings somebody, like he has currently somebody lined up who's looking at purchasing a potential $10,000 packet. So the fast start on that $10,000 would be $1,500 for the fast start bonus, and that is more than the $600, which would be 2 times the value of his personal contract. So the remainder of
you lost me in the second half of the question.
Okay, so he's wondering if he maxes out his bull capital on one trade contract. I read in your in the terms on the website that there's a 7-day rolling fast start payout thing. So after you max out your bull capital, so could he then, with his remaining $900, because he's maxed out 600 of that from his contract, and it's a
You're now
$1,500
referring to the
contract.
sponsor of someone who added someone at a 10K package.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So what you're talking about, for those of the guests in the room that aren't quite following, if you have, let's say, for example, a $500 trade package, remember, on your bear side, that's the trading side, you can make 2 times value. That's $1,000. On your bull, which is your sharing, you can earn 2 times, which is another $1,000. What Tristan is asking is, if someone, let's say, on a $500 trade package sponsors with a friend who joins at $10,000, well, that person is now entitled to a $1,500 fast start bonus, but at 2 times the value of their $500 package, they can only earn $1,500 or $1,000, which means they're leaving money on the table. To answer your question, yes, you have a week that you can upgrade and not lose anything. The company is not looking to keep that for themselves, that's for you. And so they give you an extra week period of time for you to upgrade, which is more than enough time to do it, and make sure you capture all of that bonus and you don't leave any of it behind.
And John, that happened exactly to me. I had someone upgraded a $20,000 package and I was at 1,000. So I did exactly that. I didn't lose a penny.
Yeah, you were entitled to a $3,000 sponsor bonus.
Yep, exactly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you for telling me about this in July. It's awesome.
I'm glad you're having fun. Okay, so last thing I want to share with everyone, and then we'll wrap up because we are pretty much at the top of the hour. So this is just a little a piece that we're assembling right now for you. So it's a little bit easier to share this with your friends. It's going to be a dedicated website, so it'll have its own unique URL. And I'm not going to tell you what the URL is yet, but there is 3 play buttons on this. And the idea is for all of you to have a very simple tool that you can send a friend to. For example, I would call my friend and say, hey, listen, quick question. I'm wondering if you've ever made any money in the Forex market. And then I would just be quiet and I would listen to the answer. And maybe they have, maybe they haven't, maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. The answer really, it doesn't matter. I'd say, well, listen, I'm going to send you a site. There's a little 8-minute product video. That's the only one that I want you to watch. You can order the 90-second teaser before that, but watch that 8-minute product video. If it doesn't float your boat after that, don't worry about it. But I'm going to call you back in 10 minutes and at least just get some thoughts from you. Is that cool? So essentially what I'm doing is I'm asking my friend for an 8-minute favor, and no one that you know on a first name basis is going to say no to you. They may not be interested in the platform, but they're all going to spend 8 minutes and watch the first video that you send to them. And so that's how this is really meant to be used. And you simply phone back and you say, what are your thoughts? And you listen. And if there's, so generally what I'm asking my friends at that point is if they're curious about how they could generate gains in addition to the product, then I'd say simply send them the URL again, or tell them to go back to that site, say, watch the last 7-minute video then, and I'll call you back in another 10 minutes. So it's a very simple strategy. It's goof proof. And this way, you're not having to coordinate 3-way calls. You're not having to go through this material on your own. It's straight to the point. It's short. It's getting the job done.
This is phenomenal, John.
It looks fantastic for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a cool little tool. Again, when it comes to building systems, the most important thing in the world is just to build very, very simple systems. Because remember we talked about compounding and leverage? So you can either leverage money or you can leverage time. And if you have a strong enough financial platform, leveraging time can actually become far more profitable for you than leveraging money. For example, if you were to buy, let's say, a $20,000 trading package, and you were only going to let that work for you, well, you would do well because you would earn quite well from that, and you'd be able to roll some of that in and work your way up the trade package ladder until eventually you're at a $100,000 trade package and you're putting $10,000 a month in your pocket, and then you still have enough at the end to rebuy that pocket. That's a wonderful thing. That's a $10,000 a month income source you've created for yourself. But if you leverage your time by simply sharing the platform with even 2 or 3 friends and helping them do the same, in the long run, that's going to actually end up paying you much, much more through the sharing side of this, which is highly lucrative. And then that way you've got the trading gains, and you also have the bull capital that will start to come in. So that's it, guys. If anyone else has anything they want to share, please feel free to do so.
John, thanks to Chase again. I got a number of people on as a guest. I will be following up with them. And you did an excellent job as usual, and appreciate it so much.
Thanks very much, Chase.
Yeah, I concur, John. I've got a few people on, a couple of prospects, but also a couple of affiliates that had some questions. And every time that we hear this presentation or Q&A from you, it really starts clearing things up. So I really appreciate it from our end, for sure.
No problem. I hope everyone's doing well. And I suspect we'll get together again in a week's time.
We will, absolutely. That's the plan.
And don't forget, we've got, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you, Dean.
No, it's okay.
We've got a corporate presentation tomorrow at
5 p.m.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sharon. Sharon's got it down. Right on.
I know what it is.
Okay, that's good. We all have to get that in our memory. It takes a while to get all the important Zoom calls and Zoom meetings in your head. It becomes natural after a while. And I know quite a few of us actually look forward to those corporate calls. Very interesting.
I just want to share a final thought before we go. And I certainly don't want to be too heavy or really dump any sense of responsibility on anyone's shoulders. That's not how this is intended. I just want to remind everyone of Michael. You sent me an article that was either yesterday or today's news, and it was local. Do you want to just share the headline from that article?
Yeah, I think that was yesterday, and it was, I forget the news source, Global or something like that, and 50% of all small businesses in BC are going to close by the time the dust settles here, and many of them will not open or reopen.
Many will not reopen. So there's many people around all of us right now that are really stressed, and some are really struggling, or they're fearing potential future struggles. And so I think that if you can muster the confidence, just to at least make an invitation for them to come to one of these calls or to jump on with us on a private call, you just never know. We often underestimate our own worth, which is a real shame. There seems to be a real self-confidence epidemic, it seems, as generations go by. And you can potentially be of far more value to people you care about than maybe you think. So I just wanted to leave that with you.
That's a
Yeah,
good
John.
point, John. Randy T here. I mean, if we go out and have a great steak or we go see a great movie, we can't wait to share it with others. And it doesn't change lives, a program like this. So like you say, just find the gumption and the ability to share, and game changer.
Never showed up. So
Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Awesome
John.
meeting.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
Michael, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice meeting all you new people.
All right.
Money focus, money focus.
Yes.